In the heart of ancient Canaan stood the fortified city of Jericho, a grand city with towering walls and bustling marketplaces. Its people worshipped many gods and lived lives far from the God of Israel. But among these people, in this city destined for destruction, lived a woman whose name would be remembered for generations, Rahab. She was not a noble woman, nor was she a prophet or priestess. Rahab was a prostitute. A woman of the streets, living on the edge of society, both literally and spiritually. Yet her story became one of redemption, courage, and unshakable faith. Rahab's home was built into the city wall itself, a strategic location that overlooked both the city and the road outside. Her life was shaped by the culture of Jericho, and she likely grew up believing in the gods of Canaan. But Rahab was different. Beneath the labels and judgments, she had a heart that yearned for something more. Something real. Joshua 2 verse 1 tells us, "Then Joshua son of Nun secretly sent 2 spies from Shittim. Go, look over the land, he said, especially Jericho." So they went and entered the house of a prostitute named Rahab and stayed there. When the Israelite spies arrived in Jericho, they found refuge in Rahab's house. Perhaps it seemed like a clever hiding place. After all, her home was open to strangers, and no one would suspect a political or military mission there. But God had a greater plan. Rahab, upon meeting the spies, made a choice that changed everything. The king of Jericho heard that spies had entered the city, and he sent soldiers to Rahab's door. Joshua 2 verses 3-4, So the king of Jericho sent this message to Rahab, "Bring out the men who came to you and entered your house, because they have come to spy out the whole land." But the woman had taken the 2 men and hidden them. She hid them under stalks of flax on her roof and sent the king's men on a wild goose chase, saying they had already left. Then, under the cover of night, Rahab climbed up to the roof and made a confession of faith that stunned the spies. Joshua 2 verses 9-11, "I know that the Lord has given you this land. We have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt, for the Lord your God is God in heaven above and on the earth below." Did you hear that? Rahab, a Canaanite woman, declared belief in Yahweh, the God of Israel. She had never seen the Red Sea parted. She had never walked through the wilderness. But the stories of God's mighty works had reached her ears, and she believed. Rahab didn't just believe, she acted. She made a bold request, Joshua 2 verses 12-13, "Now then, please swear to me by the Lord that you will show kindness to my family. Give me a sure sign that you will spare the lives of my father and mother, my brothers and sisters." The spies agreed. They instructed her, Joshua 2 verse 18, "Tie this scarlet cord in the window through which you let us down, and all who are in your house shall be spared." The scarlet cord, a sign of faith, a symbol of protection, became Rahab's lifeline. It marked her home, just like the blood on the Israelites' doorposts in Egypt during the first Passover. Days later, the Israelite army marched around Jericho. Not once. Not twice. But for 7 days, and on the 7th day, 7 times. With a mighty shout, the walls of Jericho collapsed, all except one portion. Rahab's house on the wall remained standing. Joshua 6 verses 22-23, "Go into the prostitute's house," they said, "and bring her out and all who belong to her." Rahab and her family were saved, just as promised. And then, something remarkable happened, Joshua 6 verse 25, "But Joshua spared Rahab the prostitute, with her family and all who belonged to her, because she hid the men Joshua had sent as spies to Jericho. And she lives among the Israelites to this day." Rahab, once an outsider, became part of the people of God. Rahab didn't just live among the Israelites, she became one of them. According to Matthew 1 verse 5, she married Salmon, a prince of the tribe of Judah. Together, they had a son named Boaz, yes, the same Boaz who would one day marry Ruth, the Moabite woman of faith. Rahab's lineage led to King David, and ultimately to Jesus Christ. Matthew 1 verses 5 to 6. Salmon the father of Boaz, whose mother was Rahab, Boaz the father of Obed, whose mother was Ruth, Obed the father of Jesse, and Jesse the father of King David. Imagine that, a former prostitute, once marked by shame, now honored as a matriarch in the royal line of the Messiah. Rahab's faith was so extraordinary that she is named in the Hall of Faith in Hebrews. Hebrews 11 verse 31, by faith the prostitute Rahab, because she welcomed the spies, was not killed with those who were disobedient. And again in James 2 verse 25, she's celebrated not just for believing, but for acting. In the same way, was not even Rahab the prostitute considered righteous for what she did when she gave lodging to the spies and sent them off in a different direction? Rahab's life reminds us that God sees beyond our past. He looks at the heart. Where others saw a sinful woman, God saw a woman of destiny. Where others saw shame, God wrote grace. Rahab believed when others feared. She acted when others trembled. And because of her faith, not only was her family saved, but she became part of God's eternal story. No matter where you come from, no matter what labels the world has placed on you, Rahab's story shows us that faith changes everything. Will you have the courage to believe, like Rahab? Jeremiah 29 verse 11 NIV, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future.